All right, cool. So there's 3 questions, right? And the first one's the hardest, but then they get easier. Again, they have to do with common sense, all of them. So.
Okay. Why do you start with the most difficult? Why
Just,
not
to basically to make some points. Make some points. So I have 2 images here.
Okay.
And the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting. So I want to see if you could tell the difference.
Oh, man. One's a photograph.
This one's the painting.
Okay.
This one's the photo.
Okay.
No, that's the painting.
Okay.
That's the photo.
Okay. It was actually a trick question. They're both paintings.
Ah!
Yeah, so I don't expect people to get this one. Obviously,
Yeah.
I couldn't get it. Nobody could get it. It's
Yeah.
impossible. But there is 2 reasons why.
The only reason I thought it was a painting is
Yeah.
because the gold on his something about his earring looks
Yeah.
painted.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. This is actually done on an iPad. It's a digital painting. There's actually a time lapse. This one's pretty famous. You can
Yeah,
look it
that's
up.
crazy.
Yeah, I know. It took like 200 hours or so, something like
Oh,
that,
wow.
Yeah.
to make it. So there is 2 reasons why I asked this question, though. They have to do with common sense. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived.
Yeah.
So it's not
Yeah.
good to just believe someone on their word, especially if
True.
it comes to images, right?
Yeah.
The
Okay.
second reason is if we want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough, because if I showed you an image of me flying or me
Yeah.
walking on water, would you guys believe I could do those things?
No.
No, that's
exactly.
obvious. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially if an image defies physics. You know,
Yeah.
we have to throw that image away. Right?
Yeah.
It's obvious. So the next 2 actually have to do with physics.
Nice.
So you don't have to believe me. It's elementary physics, actually.
All right.
It has to do with water. Could we agree that once water is contained, like in this bottle, it always seeks its lowest point? In other words, it always goes down. Because no matter if I turn the bottle upside down, the water always goes down. That's why when it rains, water falls down.
Due to gravity, yes.
So that's a fact about water. So it always goes to the lowest point.
Not always.
I mean, unless it evaporates, then it's no longer water. I would say it's
If
steam.
there was something more dense in there.
But water will still go down. I mean,
It'll
something-
surround it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my
If it was
point.
just water, yeah.
Yeah, obviously. So this next 2, I took these, but I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier, because water is clear and it'd be hard to see. But I painted the water blue just to make it easier. How I'm showing you these 2, since we understand water always goes down, which one is upside down from these 2?
Which one is upside
Yeah,
down?
from these 2 images, how I'm showing them to you. Which
Upside
one is
down being
upside
if you were holding this is right side up,
Yes.
and this is upside down.
Yes. So which one is upside down?
I mean, it seems like the obvious choice is that
There
one.
you go. I mean,
Yeah.
it's obvious. You guys got it, because the water can't stick to the top of the bottle.
Yeah.
I actually took that one like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys got it. This one was upside down. This
Yeah.
one's right side up. Right. It's obvious. Pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
So this
You
last
thought
one.
there was more deep.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
don't worry.
No,
we're
sometimes
assuming.
people overthink it, but
Uh-huh.
I get it, So after the first trick question, So
Yeah.
this last one, have you guys ever heard of water always finds its level?
It would become level, yeah.
Yeah, when it's contained, like in a
Yeah.
giant pool. What would be another word for level? If you had to use a different word.
Balance.
Balance. Could we say horizontal?
Yeah,
Because horizontal is the
horizontal, yeah.
proper definition of level. Since we understand the fact about water as well, that it always finds its level, right? And we know what level means. Which one of these 2 represents level correctly when we're looking at the water? A or B?
Level correctly?
Yeah, which one represents level as we know it? When water finds its level.
So level structure. Oh well, yeah. This one's equidistant
Yeah,
from the
there we
structure.
go. Yeah, you got it. You got it. That's the obvious one. So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population, including myself and maybe you guys, have been tricked to believing this is the answer, even though we know it's this one.
Why would they think that?
Just because it's too obvious.
You want to
Maybe,
know
yeah,
how
like
we were
over-
tricked? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yes.
Oh.
Right. So NASA
so
in
they
specific.
think of that.
Exactly. So they actually have satellites orbiting
But
the Earth.
relative to the structure.
Exactly.
This is a level
Relative
structure.
to the level. Exactly.
Yeah.
So NASA claims to have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth if they're supposedly going around it, right? They
Yeah.
need to know the distance they're traveling. So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles.
Yeah.
So using basic math and pi, we could get the circumference from this, and the circumference is 24,901 miles, which means there has to be curvature every mile, and every mile it increases. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, by the third mile there should be 6 feet of curvature, and in 10 miles there should be 66 feet, which is like a 6-story building of measurable curvature. So if we actually went out in nature, like a giant lake that was miles across,
Yeah.
and build a level structure over that lake, the water's going to show us that it's parallel. It's going to be parallel to the level structure, because that's what water does. It finds its level, right? But they're trying to tell us that level means curve. So they're trying to redefine level. So the way they redefine level is equal distance from the center to the outer circumference of a circle or
You
sphere.
think 95% of people think this way?
I believe over 95% of the population believe that the Earth is a ball, even though we know that the physics of water will prove otherwise. So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe, a physical measurement of the Earth. So if I was to ask you guys, what's the #1 proof that convinces you that the Earth is a sphere?
I don't know.
I mean, that's honest.
I guess Just like the beginning, the picture.
Images, exactly. So I like to start with the images first because I'm glad you brought them up, because NASA doesn't call them photographs, they actually call them images. And the reason they call them images is because they're Photoshop. But they don't call them Photoshop, they call them composites. And I don't know if you guys knew, the word image comes from the word imagination. So what they're showing us, these images from Earth as a ball, they're just imaginary. And that's why they call them images, because they're not real.
Yeah.
They're all made in a computer and they have made it.
Yeah.
So you don't think it's a sphere?
Oh, 100%. I know it's not a sphere. You know,
what about like pilots, like if they, before like GPS systems, like pilots had to have like a formula for like if they wanted to take off in Los Angeles and fly to New York City, but like they have to take into account like
curvature, you think?
Curvature and spinning of the Earth, like rotation.
Right. So first about the spin of the Earth, for example. So they're telling us that the Earth is spinning from east to west, right? So yeah, that's how that sounds. Point is that when we fly from New York from LA to New York, we're going with the spin or against the spin. I'm not really sure which one is. Point is that it shouldn't take the same amount of time to go to New York.
It's pretty much the same amount of time.
Exactly, but if the Earth was spinning 1,000 miles an hour, which is twice as fast than airplanes fly, then we would never get to the destination going the other way, away from the spin.
I mean, that's the same thing as like saying like if we were to jump in the air, the Earth would move under us.
Exactly.
Because we're moving so fast.
Right.
We're a part of its atmosphere.
So I understand when we jump, right? So you're saying you think the whole atmosphere is being built
it's all
with
moving.
the Earth, right? Yeah. So that's the thing though, when something is off the floor, like an airplane or a helicopter is just hovering, when it starts, let's say an airplane, I admit when it's in the air, maybe, okay, that's the theory that everything's being velcroed together. But again, if we start going one distance and then going the opposite distance, it shouldn't be the same time. That's my point. And another thing is, I don't know if you ever knew this, but the spin of the Earth has never physically been measured. So it's just something they just say.
Like a scientific method.
It's theory, a scientific theory based
on the spin of the Earth.
The spin of the Earth has never been measured.
Isn't it measured by 1 day?
That's what they tell us. But I don't know if you knew this. Back in the day, and we can observe today, the sun's what moves in the sky, or what seems to move in the sky. Now they're telling us that the sun is still and we're spinning, and that's where I'm saying that they're just saying that they're not providing any proof or any physical experiment to show that. So it's just in books as a theory, and the theory of relativity. Have you heard of the theory of relativity? How it explains people are upside down in Australia. They're saying basically that they're upside down relative to us, but when you go to Australia, you're right side up, and now we're upside down. But again, it's just a theory. Again,
so what do you think about other things, so like planets and stuff? Do you think those are flat?
So
how about like the sun, like in like Norway or Alaska, like the sun is there for 24 hours during the summer, and in the winter it's not there at all, because like of the tilt of the axes.
That's where they tell us the seasons come from, right? So let me address the stars first. So the stars, they tell us that they're light years away, right? Millions and millions of light years away. And then the planets, they're supposedly just millions of miles away. They're way closer, right? There's a P900 camera with 83 times optical zoom, which is real zoom, it's not digital zoom. And these were brought into, these are the stars, and this is what they actually look like. So the stars are just twinkling lights in the sky that change color and basically flicker, you know what I'm saying? And nobody actually knows what they are. But if you ask me, the fact that we're able to bring them into focus with 83 times zoom, also the planets. So this is what NASA shows us they actually look like, but this is what they actually look at with an amateur camera, right? We shouldn't be able to bring them into focus if they were light years away, or even millions of miles with 83 times zoom. 83 times is very limited. So the fact that they're being brought into focus, that tells me that the sky is very close to us. So it's like a couple thousand, if you ask me, miles in the sky. And again, nobody knows what these lights are. So anybody telling you what these lights are is just a religion. So any religion will tell you what they are. I mean, I'm pretty sure Christians, they believe they're like angels, right? I'm assuming any other religion, they will claim that they're something. NASA tells us that there are other Earth-like planets, again, but again, nobody knows what these are. Anybody trying to tell you is just a religion, trying to basically thwart people's common sense, if you ask me, because nobody knows what they are. And it becomes irrelevant to the shape of the Earth, because what's up there in the sky doesn't tell us nothing about the dimensions of the ground.
Yeah, I guess it's hard for me to believe because all the other planets are round and round, and you're just saying the Earth is subjective.
Well, that's the thing. The Earth, I would say the Earth is the floor of the universe, and all the lights in the sky are just part of the Earth. Like, they're just there to illuminate.
Everything orbits Earth?
I'm sorry?
You think everything orbits Earth? Or like
so, if anything, the sky does rotate above us, if you ask me. That's my opinion. Nobody's ever actually proven that. Just like nobody's ever proven the Earth spinning. But it's obvious to me that the sky moves above us. And another thing about the stars, you know what parallax is? Parallax, so let's say I have an object here and I have another object here. If you're standing on this side, this one's going to be on your right field of view, and this one's going to be on your your left field of view. When you switch to this side, this one moves to the left field of view, and then this one stays on the right field, depending on the position you are. That's parallax. There's no parallax with the stars, which there should be if we're truly shooting through space at 500,000 miles an hour and going through all these spins, and there should be parallax in the sky, and there's no parallax. The sky is literally like a map that people used to use to navigate. I'm pretty sure you knew that.
Yeah.
They use triangulation, and triangles only work from a straight baseline. Yeah. That's how you get 90 degrees to be 40, 30, 30, and 30. If you had a curved baseline, that's like they're telling us, you wouldn't be able to triangulate with the stars. So that's another proof that the fact that we could triangulate with the stars wouldn't be possible on the globe.
It has to be done curved geometry.
Spherical geometry. I'm glad you brought that up. Have you heard of Euclidean plane geometry?
Yeah, of course. I teach math.
Oh, math. I'm glad you do. So let me show you
there's
this.
Euclidean, and then there's like hyperbolic.
So did you know that in construction and engineering, and even in flight navigation, Euclidean plane geometry is used, not spherical geometry. So everybody assumes that the Earth is a level plane. All your blueprints, everything that we use to construct is done from a datum line, which is a straight baseline. Yeah. And then that's how we get height
it's so
and depth.
small relative.
But again, every mile increases. So people could say it's small, maybe within 100 feet, 200 feet, even a mile. I would say 8 inches is negligible almost in a mile. But as soon as we start constructing 2, 3, 4, 5 miles, and there's a 100-mile bridge in China that exists, and there's no curvature to that bridge. You know what I'm saying? There should be miles, probably like a mile of curvature on that bridge, and there isn't. Just straight over the water, and again, parallel. So real quick, this is images of the horizon without a GoPro camera, just a standard lens. And this is about 20 miles in the sky, roughly, maybe a little bit more. And the horizon always rises with you. So if they're trying to tell us that the horizon is the curve of the Earth, where things starts to curve down, and that's why you can't see past it, then the horizon should never rise with you when you elevate. The reason why it does that is because the horizon is just an apparent thing. It's the limit of our eyesight, basically. So we do have a limit to how far we can see.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
But couldn't we use like a telescope and then see freaking China?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know if you know, the atmosphere is like moisture. So even if we could, even if there was a telescope strong enough to zoom in that far, which I don't think there is.
Well, there is. We can see all this.
No, but that's why, because it's in the sky, and it's when you point at the sky, there's not that much atmosphere going straight up. Most of the atmosphere is on the lower level, you can say, right? So that's why when we're looking across, all that thickness of the atmosphere just keeps adding and adding and adding, so we can't see. When we look up, there's not that much atmosphere going up. That's what we're able to, especially on clear days. These pictures were taken on very clear nights.
Well, like hypothetically, if it was like a super clear day, we could go like 40 miles above California, and we should see Australia.
Well, here's another thing about the limit of our eyesight. So this is
not with our eyes. Like
with a telescope.
Yeah, with
even telescopes have a limit, to their perception. Again, with the atmosphere covering, I don't think you even be able to see, even if they could zoom in that far, because of the atmosphere. You would have to suck the whole atmosphere from the Earth to be able to see Paris from here, right, or something like that, in a very strong zoom camera.
Yeah.
So this is a quick graph, how our eyes see, because our eyes are spherical, obviously, right? So this could represent our eyeball. When an object above us that stays in the same altitude starts to move away, it seems to drop in our field of view. So when things go further on a distance, because they shrink, the bottom tends to shrink. Basically everything shrinks to a point, which will be at the center of our eyeball, and that will be the vanishing point, or the horizon, basically. So the only place you're ever gonna see curvature of the Earth is through, again, GoPro cameras, through an action camera, at high altitude, or through CGI cartoons like this one.
Why GoPro?
Huh?
Why GoPro?
That's the cameras that most pilots, especially when they fly jets and stuff like that.
Why would it show curvature?
GoPros, because they have a wide-angle lens. I don't know if you knew that. That curves horizontal lines. It warps the image. Yeah. So that's the only way you're ever going to see curvature of the Earth is through camera effects like that, or CGI cartoons like this, or a mix of both. Sometimes they use both. They use a green screen behind with like a high-altitude GoPro, and then that's how they, in my opinion, that's how they fake the ISS, supposedly.
So you don't think anyone's gone to space and taken
pictures?
No.
No,
where'd they go?
So, I don't know if you knew, first of all, again, this is my opinion, it kind of goes off topic, but astronauts don't really go into these rockets, these fireworks. I would just call them big fireworks. The reason why I believe that, or I think that, is because, have you ever heard of the Challenger disaster, right?
Of course, yeah.
Exactly. All these astronauts that were in there supposedly died, but it came out later that they're actually all alive still.
I
Yeah,
don't
you
believe
can.
that.
You could look it
I
up.
don't
They actually
believe
found them, and they actually
way.
asked them for their names and everything. And yeah, some of them still
They
use the same
probably
name.
wouldn't even give their names.
One said he was just the twin brother of the other guy. You know, one of the guys.
So they all
Again, you don't
decided to go into hiding?
This is irrelevant. Again,
It just doesn't make sense.
people's
Yeah.
stories is irrelevant. I will go with physics. So water's gonna show me who's lying and who's not.
Well, no, I'm saying like you're saying no one went up and took
Yeah.
pictures. Where'd they all go? Like,
Well, so again, nobody goes in
Yeah.
these rockets, and they just shoot them to the Bermuda
like
Triangle.
even like SpaceX, they're just over there just fucking around for no reason. Like they don't have any intent on actually
so the
going
people
anywhere.
that build these rockets, they don't
Yeah.
have to be in on the lie. That's why everything's compartmentalized. So if
No,
somebody,
of course, yeah, but
exactly.
there's people in on it. Like,
The astronauts 100% are lying.
so like Elon's just like totally just
Elon,
like bullshitting.
He's
He's just
no,
investing billions of dollars just
no
to
offense
be
to
no
Elon
reason.
or his person or anything, but
Yeah.
he's not very bright. You know, if you actually listen to him talk, you know, he gets very nervous when he's in public. You could tell, like.
Well, yeah, I mean, he
Yeah,
has
he has
Asperger's
autism.
and
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's what they said. Point is that
Or that's what he says.
yeah,
He has
exactly.
autism.
So focusing on people's feelings or what they think, or I think it's irrelevant to establishing the objective world, what it actually is. I would say go to physics if you want to understand the geometry of the Earth and.
Do you study physics?
I'm sorry.
Do you study physics?
I don't study physics personally. I mean, I do because we're alive every day. Physics is
No,
all
I mean
around
like,
us.
do you study physics
at a
like-
university? Is what you're
yeah,
saying? No.
Like, or even like on your own in your own time reading books about physics.
No.
and-
So
I mean, if you want to like get the
Yeah,
facts,
yeah.
go to physics. You're saying.
no, that's the thing though.
I mean,
with-
Elon knows a fuckload of physics.
he just
does.
regurgitates a lot of stuff that he's been told.
I mean, a lot of his like chief engineers know way too much physics.
Oh yeah, when it
They're
comes
all-
to building cars and stuff, I would say yeah, his team knows a lot about cars.
But
He
if
doesn't
they
know
all
anything.
know the physics,
He's just
like,
the inventor.
Let's say he has like the best engineers in like all of like
Right.
North America that
Right.
he's hired.
Yep.
Like, you don't think that they would tell him like, sir, this isn't possible because what you're saying doesn't exist.
Well, that's the thing. All the people that work in these fields, because it's compartmentalized, they all just believe what they're told. And again, they're all doing it for money at the end of the day. They're not
I'll
gonna
tell
question
you,
their job.
So why is it that they're trying to make us believe that it's
Okay,
like,
I'm
round?
glad you asked. A lot of
Why-
people go
why-
that.
Yeah.
What's the point?
What's
Yeah,
So-
what's
Yeah,
lying
so it
about
all
it?
comes down to control. So if they could get you to believe something so absurd like this, and you go on, grow up to be an adult, if you believe this, then you're willing to believe anything else these people tell you, because you're at this point if you believe this and throw your common sense away, you're giving that authority or your common sense to another human being. And now, who's to say they're not going to take advantage of you?
Can I see like what you would think? So if this isn't, if
This is an official-
this is North America, according to whoever.
Yeah, whoever drew
But then
this.
that means that we could take a sailboat all the way around
Right.
and end up to wherever, and we can get anywhere in the world like this.
East and west, right? Is what you're saying. Circumnavigation?
However,
Circumnavigation?
north doesn't matter.
Okay,
What
so-
does your version look like?
Okay, so
I'm curious.
again, I don't go with any maps because at the end of the day, nobody knows the dimensions of the Earth.
But I mean, we could factually go anywhere in the world any way we want.
Exactly, we could.
So
but
I'm wondering how we
there's
would
a
do
lot
that
of
if it's
restricted
not-
areas, but yeah.
If
Here, I'll
it's
show you.
not,
Yeah.
if it's not a sphere.
Okay,
Like,
so
I'm curious.
again, this is not what it looks like. I just like to use it for reference because sometimes people have questions.
Yeah.
So this is what the Earth would look like if
Flat.
what level? Because
Yeah.
obviously the Earth, the
Yeah.
dirt has mountains, valleys, right? But the water for sure is flat
Okay.
or level. But the north will be a center point. That's
So
what it
where
will
is
be.
the sun relative to this?
So the sun will be a little. They actually measure the sun using triangulation. Again, I haven't done this myself, but supposedly the sun is only about 30 miles in diameter.
So sun's path in
our
summer.
Yeah, it's in the center.
So in summer, that's why it's light here. But
Exactly.
if it's flat, right, and
Yeah.
the sun is incredibly powerful,
Well, that's what-
insanely powerful.
well, that's
It
what
can
they're
provide
telling
us
us.
energy.
Yeah, yeah,
it
I
can do
agree
all
with
this
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
How come, like, there's no sunlight here in the? Like, if it's flat, it
Yeah.
would go as far as it wants.
So
it would literally go as far as it wants.
So the reason why it doesn't, because again, they're telling us the sun is 93 million miles away.
Yeah.
So the light has to come in parallel. That's what they're telling us, right? So it'll illuminate the whole Earth if it was flat, right? That's what it's telling us. In reality, the sun is no higher than a couple, maybe a few thousand miles in the sky, and only 30 miles in
But
diameter.
even if it was 1,000, like from here, you said that this, according to whoever, is
Yeah.
25,000, roughly
Yeah.
24,900. That means that from here to here, you said the radius was how much?
Well, that's the thing. Nobody
was-
knows the dimensions of the Earth. This is just for
But
reference.
we do factually know how far it is to fly from Iceland to wherever.
I would say you would just have to take whoever's claiming this word for it,
Yeah.
which would be the military. I think they're the only ones that can actually.
No, even
and
pilots
the-
every day, like nautical miles. Like if I flew from Iceland
Yeah.
to South Africa,
Yeah.
and then they would say, oh, that's 5,000 nautical
Sure,
miles.
sure. I understand that.
So like if we were thousands of miles up here, and this is 5,000 miles away,
That's
why
a-
can't the sun reach 5,000
So here's the thing:
miles?
nobody knows the actual distance to the sun. Some people say it might be a couple
But we know
hundred.
it's not 20,000.
My point is that doesn't matter, even if it's a few thousand or a couple thousand, the sun's barely gonna be above. If we're using this to scale, the sun's barely gonna be above this paper, right?
No,
barely, and very
not,
tiny.
If this was
relative
to scale,
the Earth,
like this is.
What will be 30 miles?
This is like 5,000 miles in flight. 5,000 from Iceland to South Africa.
Sure.
5,000.
Based on what it's
and for sure we know the sun has to be. If you're saying that was.
That's the thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I just like this conversation. So you're saying this was at 20,000 feet?
No.
Sorry,
20 miles. 120,000 feet.
Okay, so 20 miles. So that means that the sun is more than 20 miles above.
Yeah, it has to be.
And so, like, if this is factually 5,000 miles, then to scale, this is 5,000 miles. This is 10,000 miles. This is 15,000. This is 20,000.
Okay.
Why can't the sun reach?
Sure. I would say it's maybe no more than 1,000, maybe less. I would say maybe in the hundreds. I would say it's very close to the Earth, relative to the Earth. That's the thing. We don't know how far the Earth
But it
extends.
has to be able to extend here for 24 hours.
So in the summer, it rotates like this. And again, because it's very close to the ground, because of the law of perspective and angle resolution, the light doesn't reach all the way over here because, again, there's going to be mountains in the way here. The point is, the atmosphere could get in the way too from light. So the point is that when it's doing the summer circuit here for us, it doesn't reach light over here simply because of
the Himalayas are like right here.
Right.
This is the Himalayas, the tallest, 28,000 feet, right?
Well, here's the thing. I don't like to focus on math because then it goes into...
I only focus on math because math
that's the thing.
is
Nobody
real.
knows the dimensions of the Earth.
Well, I mean, I'm using your dimensions or the
No.
dimensions we know.
I'm using this just as reference to explain.
You're talking about like the height of the sun, and I'm saying that relative to this, the height of the sun is taller.
Regardless of the height of the sun,
yeah,
whether it has to be to the point where it doesn't reach the light. So whatever height that is, it just doesn't reach Australia. That's the simple explanation. I don't know the exact height, but whatever it is, again, it just doesn't reach this height. Now, when it's our winter, it's doing the circuit, which is the longest circuit.
Yeah.
And then that's how they have like a month of sunlight or so.
I understand that.
And that's how, I don't know if you knew, but in Alaska, there's like 3 days of darkness or so.
No, I know that. That was my question to you. How is it happening?
Exactly. This would be a better explanation. So you believe that the Earth is like this, and it's tilted 23.4 degrees, and that explains everything about the seasons.
Yeah, I do understand.
How does that explain the seasons?
Because of where the sun is and relative to where the Earth is.
The seasons.
How does the day and light work?
Daylight, you mean, instead of seasons? You mean seasons?
Well, seasons. How do seasons work?
Or daylight, because those are two
both.
different
I mean, they
things
both kind of have to do.
Yeah, I guess the sun. So if you're like this perfectly, then and the sun's here, then everything is getting hit at some point throughout the day because 24 hours goes by.
Right.
You rotate one, and everyone gets seen. But if you tilt like this, then the sun will be hitting down here, but not up here, because as you're spinning like this.
So the Earth tilts back and forth, or does it stay at its tilt?
It's like this.
So it's always summer for the bottom.
It's always summer.
Because I mean, if it stays at a 23.4 degree tilt, then it's always gonna be summer in the bottom.
Oh no, it's because here's us.
So it has to tilt back the other way.
No, it doesn't tilt at all. No, okay, so you're incorrect with that.
No.
So if this is the sun,
we're talking about this.
I understand. Okay. If this is the sun, and this is our rotation, in 1 year, what is 1 year? It's one rotation around the sun.
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm going off of with my assumption.
Sure.
So if over here we're tilted at 23.5 degrees, then right now you could agree that my thumb would be getting hit by the sun in relative, but my middle finger would not. And that's why, and this would be winter up here and summer down here. But while we come around this way, we're still like this. We didn't do this. We're still like this. But now, do you agree my thumb is not getting hit, but my middle finger is?
No, I see that.
And that's why, and that's what the seasons are. 6 months later, we're over here.
So using that same logic, I don't know if you knew, 6 months later over here, we should have a completely different sky on this side because the sun's over here. When it's nighttime, we're looking at this side.
But we rotate 24 hours a day. We have the
we have
this different sky all day long.
It goes over here, but then it still spins. The Earth completes one circuit a day, right? So that's 365 spins and one circuit around the sun for 1 year. So when it's on this side, when it's past 6 months and it does one spin, so it's nighttime now, the Earth, and I'm not talking about going around, we should get a completely different sky 6 months later than we would in the winter. But we have the same sky in the sky. So that debunks that idea that the Earth is spinning in outer space as well. Same like with parallax. There will be parallax in the sky, which there is. But again, these are all just stories, and I admit.
Do we have a different sky from here to here? We don't. We have the same sky.
It should be the same.
It would be different.
Yeah, it will be. It will be different, but it's the same
it is
sky.
factually the same.
It is the same. You have to look it up.
Okay.
Here's another. Yeah. So again, I don't really like to go based on semantics or hypotheticals or theories. I go with physics. I go with what I know. I understand. I don't know this. I don't know the height of the sun.
Yeah.
You know.
But I do you go with physics, but like
I
in
do
all
know.
due respect, I don't
there's
think
no
you have
numbers.
much physics.
Okay, so
physics is applied science and math.
Exactly, measurable, testable, repeatable.
Yeah.
Water is the number one tool for measuring level, aka horizontal. Now
Yeah.
they're trying to tell us that after a mile or two it starts to curve.
Yeah.
Well, the burden of proof is on you to prove that, because as far as I know, if I go to any lake on Earth, doesn't matter the distance of the lake, the
Yeah.
water's always level. It's like a mirror, literally. It's perfectly still and level. And they're trying to tell me that no, it's actually curving every mile and increasing every mile.
Yeah.
So that claim is going against physics as we know it, basic physics, and water to be specific.
So what about the ground? I know the ground starts
Well, the ground
getting
is
lower,
irrelevant.
so then that's
Yeah.
why, it starts to fill up, like you said, so it would just like level out.
So you're talking about, like, what do you mean the ground?
So like out
If
in
you have a
the
hole on the
ocean,
ground and you fill it up
it's
with
kind
water?
of like,
Yeah, it's a dip.
you know, it kind of starts going
Yeah.
down, which
Water
is how
needs
it
to be
fills up,
contained like
and
a
then-
bowl, exactly.
Yeah.
So
That
then
wouldn't
wouldn't
work
it
on
level
this.
out like that? Even if the ground is going down, like it's just gonna like.
Yeah, it doesn't matter the depth. The depth of the pool or the crater could be uneven. That doesn't matter. The water was gonna fill in every gap of that, and at the surface it's always gonna level out.
I don't really know. Like, whoever builds a bridge wouldn't
Right.
build it perfectly level. Like,
Well, that's the
bridges
thing.
are always curved.
Yeah, this will be like over 98% accurate. Obviously, we won't be 100%. I would say the 100% will be water.
Yeah.
Water will be 100, which
No,
would be
but you're
ironical.
saying like water relative to.
But we're not
level
gonna use
structures.
water. Exactly. We're gonna.
No, but like the structure, like according to your picture, like this is a level structure, so we'll say that this is equidistant. But
Exactly.
like
In theory,
an actual
obviously.
structure, like a bridge is never straight. Like it's not strong.
Yeah,
being
yeah.
straight.
I
It has
understand
to
a
be
bridge.
curved.
This will be a separate experiment. You won't even have to be
No,
the
even
size
like
of
the
a
bridge
bridge.
you said in China that's like a mile long.
No. My point is that
Can't be
those bridges
straight.
were built. Obviously, they're not. My point is that there was no curvature accounted when building those. If you find the blueprints, I'm pretty sure if anybody has them, if you find, there's not going to be any curvature to that structure. That's my point. Now, if we actually built this, we would do it with very light materials, like obviously something that's very easy to cut. You know, we'll use lasers to make sure we cut 90 degrees so we could put every block straight from the other. Our reference point will be a plumb line. You know what a plumb line is?
Yeah.
It's a true vertical, 100% vertical.
I know. You just have
I don't
put a
know.
weight on the bottom and
Exactly.
the spring, and it grabs it and it'll bring it straight to the
I don't know
floor.
if you knew this, but in engineering, you could double check. All plumb lines are considered parallel, regardless of the distance.
Yeah, well, they would be because they're all
They
going.
wouldn't be
towards
parallel. If plumb lines
Well,
are
yeah.
pointing down to the center of the Earth, none of the plumb lines will be parallel to each other.
Yeah.
They all have their own orientation, you could say. But
Yeah.
in reality, all
Well,
plumb
no,
lines are
and
parallel.
when you say regardless of the distance, they're
Yeah.
talking about like within a single project. Like they're saying like if I'm building this building and I had a plumb line
So, for example,
from
a
this side to this side.
railroad or bridges doesn't, again, after miles, that should start to change, but it doesn't. That's my point. Again, I came across this 6 years ago, and it is being censored online since like 2019, and that's the only reason why I'm out here. Because
Yeah.
again, if you try to go online,
I know it's kind of foolery. Like it wasn't really about fifth grade stuff at all.
Well, it's pretty basic
It
physics.
was to pull us into this.
It was pretty basic physics with water, if you ask me. That's pretty common sense.
No,
if you believe
yeah.
that water, the surface of water bends, then it's
Yeah.
the burden of proof is on that person making that claim.
Yeah.
You have to do a scientific experiment, measurable, testable, and repeatable. Again, this will be a physical scientific test. But
Are
again,
you gonna do it?
oh, I don't have the money for it. NASA could do it. They get $60 million every day from our tax money.
Yeah.
They could build this with $1 million. With less than about a little bit more than 1% of their daily budget, they could debunk all flat earthers, right? I stay away from that word because obviously the ridicule is one of the ways they censor this.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not part of any group or anything. I'm just being by myself. I came across this and it resonated with me. You know, the fact that holy shit, simple physics shows that
I think you
these
should
things are
start
lying.
studying physics, man. Like,
No.
I mean like actually like.
Oh my god.
Like you should look like you could enroll at RCC for
That's the thing
for
though.
$120 a month or a semester.
Just
Nah.
so you can start kind of doing things because you've said a
Well,
lot,
this is the
but
best-
haven't shown much.
Well, water
Like,
will
you
be the
don't know
number
when
one
is
proof.
this, you don't know this, you don't know that.
Yeah, I go.
Yeah.
Nobody knows that. That's my point. Focusing
can
on those
find
things.
it.
Nobody can find. Like, how can we get to the stars if we've only
No, I
been
mean
so high?
like
For example.
like you could be a little bit more concise in proving what you want to prove.
Yeah, I go with physics. I stick with physics. So I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying,
Have you
study
heard of the
physics.
first law of thermodynamics?
I have heard of it. Yeah.
It's energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only transform from one form to another.
Yeah, it's kind of why I believe in some spirituality. Like if you die,
Exactly.
where do you
that
go?
debunks the Big Bang. So this whole story about the Big Bang and evolution is just a story like any other religion. So I would say all
Well,
religions
yeah, they
have.
say it's a theory.
Yeah,
Big Bang
exactly.
theory.
Again, they
Yeah.
call it a theory just so people don't like clump them in with all the other religions, but it's
Yeah.
just a religion. Anybody telling you how this place came to be and what
Oh,
the
yeah.
sky is,
We
it's
don't
just
have
a
to
religion.
believe all that.
Exactly. But again, I would say the ball Earth is just a theory as well. Based on what?
Well, everything in science is a theory. Nothing can ever be proven 100%.
Physics is not a theory.
There's laws.
There's laws. Oh, second law of thermodynamics. Have you heard of that one?
Object in motion.
It has to do with
motion.
entropy. With high pressure, always moves to the lower pressure area if there's no solid container. So in order to have a high pressure system next to our pressure here, 14.7 psi, we need a solid container like a cylinder or a tire, right? And then that's how we can increase the pressure. It has to be completely sealed. The second that there's a hole in that, what happens? Equilibrium happens. The air starts to rush to equilibrium with the rest of the air out here. That's the second law of thermodynamics. That always happens. Air always equalizes if there's no solid container. So that debunks outer space because they're trying to tell us that outer space is a negative vacuum next to Earth's 14.7 psi without a solid barrier. Again, they're trying to tell us gravity, a theory is holding in the air. But again, physics shows otherwise, that you need a physical container.
All right.
But
well, we're gonna get to our food.
So that's you could take this. I pass this out if it intrigues you. These are the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe. Again, these all have to do with physics. But again, if you don't want to take it, that's fine. But
it's all good.
No problem.
What's your name?
William.
William Jordan.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
You guys have a good one. Hey, how's it going, man? You want to give it a shot? 3 very easy questions.
He does.
How old are you? If you mind me asking.
9.
Oh, you're 9. You're 4th grade? Going on 4th grade. 3rd grade. Okay.
I'm going to 4.
Okay, cool. You guys can actually all try it together. It's actually mainly for adults, but kids can do it too, you know?
Oh, okay.
So the first one's the hardest, and they're all multiple choice, but then they get easier. So I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them's a photograph and one of them's a painting. So I want to see.
Say again, one's a photograph?
One's a photograph and one's a painting. So I want to see if people could tell the difference. Which one's a photograph and which one's a painting.
Photograph.
Okay.
Painting.
Okay.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a painting.
Okay.
Yeah, I stick with the painting here. Photograph over there.
Okay. So it's actually a trick question. They're both paintings. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't expect people to get this one because it's impossible to tell. These are very realistic, you know. So this one's a digital painting done on an iPad, and then this is an oil painting.
Really?
So there is 2 reasons why I asked this question, and they have to do with common sense. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because you guys believe me that one's a photograph, that influences your choice, right? So it's not good to just believe someone, obviously. And the second reason is if you want to determine something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I show you an image of me flying or me walking on water, would you guys believe I could do those things?
No.
No, right? Especially because it defies physics. You know, if an image defies physics. So these next 2 have to do with water, elementary physics. So could we agree once water is contained like in this bottle, it always seeks the lowest point? In other words, it always goes down. Because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always goes down. That's a fact. You know, water always seeks its lowest point. So since we understand that fact about water, it always goes down. How I'm showing you these 2, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier. But how I'm showing you these 2, since we understand water always goes down, which one is upside down from these 2?
That one would be up.
Okay, there you go. Okay, you guys agree with her? You don't
I like the picture just flipped over.
There you go. Okay, so this one was the upside down one because obviously the water can't stick to the top.
I
right?
thought
So
it
you
was
got-
a trick question.
No, no. So I took it like that. That's how I took it, holding it up to the ceiling. So yeah. So I mean, pretty easy. So the last one's even easier. Have you guys heard of water always finds its level? Right? When you're in a pool, right? What would be another word for level? We had to use a different word.
What's another word for level?
What's another word for level?
Meters?
No, level as in like something that's level.
Horizon.
Okay, that's it's actually horizontal will be the proper definition. So that was pretty close. So yeah, level means horizontal. So since we understand that fact about water as well, it always finds its level, and we know what level means. Which one of these 2 represents level correctly when we're looking at the water? A or B?
A.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is the question?
Which one represents level? A or B when it comes to the water?
A.
I don't know what's the difference. Only
Look at the water. Exactly. So which
curves.
one? So which one's level?
The water curves on B. You see how this one goes down?
That's level.
Yeah. Which one's level?
And then like it says
That one?
It's A. Yeah, it's obvious. So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population have been tricked to believing this is what level means, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were tricked? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball? right? That's what they teach us in school, right? That's what I was taught too. So NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know the radius of orbit, so they need to know the radius of the Earth. So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles, so that means there needs to be curvature every mile. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches, by the third mile there should be 6 feet of curvature. So if we went out like a giant lake that was miles across to measure for this curvature, the water is going to be parallel to any level structure to it. But they're trying to tell us that the water level means curving. Exactly. So every mile it increases. So by 10 miles, there should be 66 feet, which would be a 6-story building. You know, but this curvature doesn't exist in reality. So if I was to ask you guys, what's the number one proof or reason that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
That it isn't round?
That the Earth is a sphere.
Because when you see a boat taking off, it like goes down.
Okay, it goes over the horizon, right? You think so? Okay.
Because media told us that that's what it is?
Exactly. That's pretty honest. That's what they show us, literally. So real quick about boats going over the horizon. So we do have a limit to how far we could see. So if I was to hold this bottle and just walk away from you, this bottle is going to start to shrink in your vision, right? In reality, it's not shrinking, but to your eye, it starts to get smaller the further and further it goes away. So the horizon is just the vanishing point of perspective. So it's just how far we can see. So anything going beyond that, it's just we can't see it anymore because again, it's just the limit of our perspective. So even if that curve was there, you know, in front of us, we should be able to physically measure it in every lake on Earth. You know what I'm saying? If the water's truly bending, like they're telling us. So, and then again, I don't know if you knew that all the images from outer space, they actually call them images. They don't call them photographs because they're actually photoshopped. So an image like this doesn't really exist as a photograph. And they call them images again because they're photoshopped, but they call them composites. They don't call them Photoshop. And again, the word image comes from the word imagination. So all of this that they're showing us from outer space is just imaginary. Anything about outer space.
So you're saying that it's not true?
These are all fake. They admit that they're fake too. That's my point. Really? Yeah, exactly. They're all Photoshop.
Wait, so
they're all done on a computer.
Earth is flat?
It's level. It's level. It's a level plane. So airplanes fly over a plane, basically. They fly level.
So how come when you travel, let's say if you're gonna travel to let's say you're gonna travel to the other side, China, you go this way.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you a map. Again, nobody knows the true dimension of the Earth, how it actually looks. But if they're actually telling us the truth about all the continents that exist, then the Earth will look like this. It's right here. Again, nobody actually knows what it looks like, but if, again, all the continents are telling us exists, it will look like this. So if we're here in Los Angeles, right, or California, and we want to fly, let's say, to China over here, all they do is just fly in a straight line like that. So circumnavigation would just be circles around a plane, because the north will be a center point. So again, if Antarctica actually exists in the bottom of the globe like they're telling us, in reality it's actually just a ring around the Earth. So that's what will be holding all the water in. So that continent will be containing the water, you know, because the water has to be contained, like in a bowl or a bottle. The water can't just stick to an outside of an object, you know, like they're trying to tell us with the ball Earth, you know, like this. Water can't stick to an outside of it. It has to be contained.
But then where gravity comes to.
So gravity, I'm glad you brought it up. First of all, when it comes to establishing the shape of the Earth, gravity is a false argument. And the reason why is because the reason why things fall, like if I drop this and it falls, that tells us nothing about physically measuring long distance for curvature, right? A second thing about gravity is actually a theory. So they didn't actually measure a force pulling this down. So the reason why this falls to the ground is a phenomenon. You know what a phenomenon is? Yeah. It means it cannot be proven 100% what's causing it. So what they measured was the rate of speed. They measured 9.8 meters per second, and that's the rate in which objects take to reach the ground. You know, that's the speed of which things fall. But we're measuring the effect. We're not measuring the cause that made it fall. But again, at the end of the day, if gravity was real and truly bending the oceans and all the waters on Earth, we should be able to physically measure for that curvature. So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe. And you're never going to see this experiment in the mainstream because obviously they're avoiding this. So this is being censored since like 2019. I came across this in 2016. And the way they're censoring it is they're misrepresenting people like me, first of all, and they're just ridiculing and dismissing it, not even taking it serious.
So in other words, you're saying that whatever they're teaching us,
it's all a lie. So it all comes back to control. So the way to control human beings is you got to control the mind first, and then that's how you control their actions. So you couldn't physically control human beings. It wouldn't work. Other people wouldn't allow it. Like you'll be exposed. So the way you control human beings is psychologically. So you got to disconnect us from our true purpose here. And then that's how we give away our common sense to someone else, and we're just going to obey what they're telling us, how we should live and how much taxes we should pay, and this is what we're supposed to do. And it's all, again, it's all about control by giving away our common sense.
Right.
So again, they disconnect us from our true nature of this place. I think we should all explore the Earth, find out what it actually is, because outer space is just theory. Again, the stars, I don't know if you guys ever seen images of the stars, is what they actually look like. So this is what they show us planets look like, but the planets are just stars as well. They used to be called wandering stars. So the word wandering, they came up with the word planet. So again, these are just lights in the sky, and nobody knows what they are. So outer space is just a theory.
So if the government pretty much is making us believe
that this is this,
yeah,
and this, yeah.
Who is trying to make us believe that this is what it is?
No. Again, I don't go with maps. I don't know how the Earth actually looks.
No, I'm saying, but who's going saying that this is wrong?
Physics. So the fact that we understand water level in every lake, every ocean, even the term sea level. Have you guys heard of sea level? Yeah. Level mean horizontal. That's how we're able to construct and build. So Euclidean plane geometry is the geometry used to build everything we see. So from railroads to bridges to buildings, everything. And it's all done from a baseline, with the assumption that the Earth is a plane, a level plane, not a curve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all the blueprints, everything shows us that the Earth is level. You know, everything real, that's physical. Only theories and only books are gonna tell us, like the Bible. They're gonna try to tell us that it's something that it's not. You know what I'm saying? Anybody telling you what the sky is actually is just a religion. I mean, Christians will tell you that the stars are angels, right? Other religions will probably say they're other stuff, you know. NASA, government, tries to tell us that they're other Earth-like planets. But again, it's just lights in the sky. Nobody knows what they are. If you ask me, the sky is just a map for us to navigate this place. You know, I don't know if you knew sailors back in the day, and people used to use the stars to navigate. Navigation, using triangles, can only work from a straight baseline, because that's how you add up 90 degrees, using triangles. If it was from a curve, triangulation, navigation, using triangulation wouldn't work. But the fact that we did use it, and we could still use it, proves that the Earth is level. You know what I'm saying? That's how we measure angles from a baseline. You know, if it was curved, the angles wouldn't match up. It wouldn't make any sense. So we couldn't navigate, you know, using triangles. But we do. So yeah, I do have some information here that you guys can take home, check it out, because it is being censored. You're gonna get nothing but ridicule if you just go on Google and YouTube. But if you guys have any questions before you guys go, you know, I can answer them.
No, I'm good. I mean, we all know that the government...
They're all in it for themselves, man.
Yeah.
They're just trying to take advantage of us, and this is literally the biggest way they're doing it. You know?
It's not political.
It's not political, no, it's not. But yeah, politics is all a distraction. You know what I'm saying? It's all a distraction.
All right,
man. Appreciate
Good luck.
it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Hi. You guys want to give it a shot?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there's 3 very easy questions, and they have to do with common sense. So very easy. A 3rd grader can answer them. So the first one is the hardest, but then they get easier.
Okay.
So I have 2 images here, and the reason I call them images is because one of them is a photograph and one of them is a painting. So I want to see if people can tell the difference.
Photograph. I thought they're both photographs.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, are they both photographs?
Okay.
No.
It's actually a trick question, but they're both paintings.
Oh,
Right.
really good.
Yeah. This is a digital painting done on an iPad, and this is an oil painting.
Okay, well, I didn't know it could be digital.
No, yeah, but they're still paintings though. You know, like it was done on Final Cut Pro. Like those, you know, you could draw on them and stuff. My point is, there is 2 questions reasons why I asked this question, because I don't expect people to get this one, so it's impossible. The first reason is just believing someone opens the door to being deceived, right? Because you believe me that one's a photograph, that influences your choice. So the second reason is if one determines something is real, an image is not good enough. Because if I showed you an image of me flying or me walking on water, would you believe I could do those things? No, that's obvious, especially if an image defies physics. You know, you shouldn't trust an image. So these next 2 actually have to do with water, elementary physics. So can we agree once water is contained, like in this bottle, it always seeks its lowest point? In other words, it always goes down. Because I could turn the bottle upside down, but water always goes down. It doesn't matter the direction the bottle is, water always goes down, right? Since we understand that fact about water, you know, I painted the water blue with food coloring just to make it easier. Since we understand water always goes down, how I'm showing you guys these, which one is upside down? Which one's upside down, since we understand? Okay. Yeah, it's obvious, right? This one, because the water can't stick to the top, right? So I took that one like this. So you got it. So that's the first one. So the second one. So the last one, the easiest one of all. Have you guys ever heard of water always finds its level?
Yeah.
Yeah. What could be another word for level?
Stage?
Symmetrically or horizontal will be the proper definition for level. Because we could have a straight line, but if it's at a slope, it's not level. It has to be a horizontal straight line. That's what level means, right? And that's what water does. So since we understand that water always finds its level, and we know what level means, which one of these two is correct when it comes to the water? A or B? Yeah,
that one, unless you hold this one like...
No, but we're holding them both straight. So yeah, this is correct, obviously. Even if we hold this one like this, it's not level. So the real reason I do this is because over 95% of the population, including myself and maybe you guys, have been tricked to believing this is what level means, even though we know it's this one. You guys want to know how we were tricked? Do you guys believe the Earth is a ball?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so NASA in specific, they claim to have satellites orbiting the Earth, so they need to know the radius of orbit. So they need to know the radius of the Earth. So they do tell us the radius of the Earth is 3,959 miles. So using basic math, multiply that times 2, we get the diameter, and then the diameter times pi, we get the circumference. So the circumference of the Earth is 24,901 miles. That's what they're telling us. So there needs to be curvature every mile. So the first mile is an 8-inch drop, second mile 32 inches. By the third mile, there should be 6 feet of curvature. So if we actually went out like a giant lake and actually measure for this curvature, the water is going to show us that it's going to be parallel to the level, because that's what water does. But they're trying to tell us that level means curve and the water is going to be bending, on the surface of that lake. So this will be the #1 experiment to debunk the globe. It will be a physical measurement of this curvature that doesn't exist. So if I was to ask you guys, what's the #1 proof or reason that makes you believe that the Earth is a ball?
Great question, actually. You know what? I don't know. You know what? Because if you like look at the sun or the moon, like they're round.
Okay.
So like it's easy to assume that the world is round.
Okay. I'm glad you said assume. So first of all, anything to do with the lights in the sky, like the sun, the moon, and even the stars, I would say it's a red herring. Which means it's a false argument when it comes to physically measuring the Earth, because the Earth is down here. It's not up there. So if we want to physically measure for curvature, we got to do it on Earth, not just assume, like you said, and believe these things. But so I know a lot of people would say images from outer space, but again, they call them images because they're not photographs. So all these images that take you from outer space, they're basically making them in a computer. Yeah, they're all Photoshop, and they admit to this. So no genuine photograph of outer space exists. So the only place, so the only place you're ever gonna see curvature of the Earth is through CGI cartoons, like they show us on TV, or through GoPro cameras with a wide-angle lens.
But they do that for everything.
Yeah, they do that. So if you actually use a standard camera and send it, and these are done with giant helium balloons, they put a standard camera and they go up to 20 miles in the sky, and the horizon is always horizontal.
I'm seeing how all these pictures are connecting.
No, yeah, exactly. So the reason why it's called the horizon, if you ask me, is because it's horizontal. Again, it's not curving, and they're trying to tell us that it is curving. But again, if it was curving, then we should be able to physically measure every lake on Earth, displaying this 8 inches per mile square. But again, it only exists on paper, and again through CGI cartoons. So the way they try to redefine level is they try to say that level means equal distance from the center to the surface or outer circumference of a sphere. So if you have something that's an inch above, or 10 feet above, the Earth over here, 10 feet above the Earth over here, and 10 feet above right here, and you connect them, they're trying to say that means level. But in reality, in construction, level means horizontal. Have you guys ever heard of Euclidean plane geometry? So it's the geometry assumed by all engineers, everywhere, to build everything we see, from railroads, bridges, buildings. It's all done on the assumption that the Earth is a level plane. Exactly. They don't take account for curvature in the blueprints. It doesn't matter the distance, So yeah, have you guys heard of this topic before?
No,
I haven't. I thought you were gonna ask me to turn a fraction into a decimal.
Oh no! This is very easy, common sense stuff. You know what I'm saying? Usually, a lot of 5th grade questions, I know they go into like geography and the capital of this. So I don't know I barely know the capital of California. But those things have nothing to do with common sense. Exactly, it is Sacramento.
I was like thinking about like San Diego.
No, it is Sacramento. But again, all of that's irrelevant when it comes to common sense, because these are all just labels that we give to things. Like even history, I would say that has nothing to do with common sense. Memorizing all these events, all these names of people that supposedly, that's nothing to do with common sense. So again, common sense has to do with the physical, how things behave, what's in front of us basically, and understanding that. Water being the #1 proof to debunk the globe, right? And the horizon obviously being another proof, So I do have some information I share with people, because this information is being censored online. So I came across this in 2016, and these are the 6 main proofs that debunk the globe. You can take a look at them. And it's being censored since like 2019, and the way they're censoring it is they're just demoting this information from like all the search engines, and they're promoting all this ridicule, all these experts, exactly, just playing on people's emotions. So a lot of things that they do is they'll misrepresent people like me. So they'll try to say, oh, these crazy flat earthers are science deniers.
Oh, so you're a flat earther?
No. I don't go by that. So you've heard of flat earth before?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what this is about. But I try to stay away from that word because again, the ridicule.
Yeah.
It's literally, that's how they're keeping people away from this. So I'm not a flat earther. So I'm just a realist. If anything, I'm just one person that came across this in 2016 and basically made sense to me. And the fact that because people can lie. People lie.
Oh, yeah.
Physics doesn't. Physics is all about understanding. So if somebody's telling me something contrary to my understanding of physics, then most likely you're lying, especially if you have nothing to back it up. And then again, part of the reason why they're censoring and ridiculing is because there's nothing. The globe has nothing. So again, there is a video called 200 Proofs the Earth is not a ball, but in reality, everything proves that the Earth is not a ball. How airplanes fly, they fly level, they fly straight. They don't fly around, taking account for curvature.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to, have your water.
What do you think about the Bermuda Triangle?
Oh yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. No, so the Bermuda Triangle, they tell us that ships go. The reason why they push that story is because I don't know if you knew, all the spaceships that they launch, they actually fly over the Bermuda Triangle. So the reality is that there's no astronauts in these actual spaceships, and they just shoot them into the ocean where people can't see them. And they make it restricted. They call it the Bermuda Triangle because they don't want people to see that they're actually landing back on Earth. Right. So the highest human beings have ever gone is this 20 miles. Nobody can go higher than like 20.
Yeah.
Yet alone 100 miles. So the reason, this is the highest. You guys seen the Red Bull jump? The jump from space. A guy, his name is Felix.
Yep.
So he got in a giant helium balloon and he went to the edge of space supposedly. But again, he had a GoPro camera, and then that's how they were supposedly showing the curvature of the Earth. And he jumped from nearly this height. And again, if you use a standard camera, it's always horizontal. Again, it's just camera effects in cartoons that they're showing us. So the globe doesn't exist in reality. It's just imaginary. Another reason why they call them images.
It's an interesting
That's the
topic.
thing I don't like.
So I'm glad you.
How would you feed us all these? Like when I found out, getting off topic. What really Thanksgiving means?
Oh
yeah.
She found out like a couple years ago.
And we're like,
and
we
she didn't
don't
want to
celebrate
celebrate it anymore.
Thanksgiving no more. Oh hell no, we're not.
Yeah, I actually don't celebrate any holidays anymore.
Every time we do give thanks, for the meals we have sometimes.
Yeah.
We
Our family
we've been in that situation where
you just have to be grateful for like the little things.
Yeah, be grateful for the little things.
Everything can be taken away.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but not if we don't let them. That's the thing, because we're giving away our common sense to authorities that we think are smarter than us.
And
now
we're
they're taking advantage of us because we trust them. Again, it all goes back to the basic fundamentals of our existence. They could disconnect us from our true nature of this place and who we are. Then they could just make us do whatever they want, because again, we think they're smarter than us, but they're not. They're morons.
They're like, to them, we're like their puppets.
Exactly. Yeah, especially people that are on TV. Those are the real puppets. They have to just do what they're told, or if not, you don't have a job anymore.
They don't want it.
And they're the ones who basically end up feeding us the
Exactly. They use their puppets to feed us the lies because they're not man enough to do it themselves. They have other people do the dirty work for them.
And then those people can just be like, well, I'm just the reporter.
Nobody knows who they are. I don't know who's really running this place. It's not the government. It's the people that print the money. But who really knows these people that print the money? The Federal Reserve.
It's like the one from the movie stars. What was it that you said? That there's that.
Oh,
something
so
like that too.
Yeah, so the Illuminati is just a group of people, obviously, that are just there to control, I would say, through subliminal messaging and stuff. So a lot of people think it's a joke, which to me it is a joke, even if it exists. No, even if it does exist, they are a joke. They're just like, it's like a gang on TV. Like it's kind of, to me, gangs are just a joke.
That's what
gangs are a joke.
believe in it in the first place because everything is just something like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, so they link that Bermuda Triangle to that.
Going back to what you said about the whole flat Earth, like there's just
that's where the spaceships go. That's why. So they just want to keep people away from this. So they scare people. Like, oh, don't go there. Your boat's gonna go missing.
Yeah, you know
and maybe,
what?
Yeah.
It was really scary at first when COVID and blah, 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 and all these people die and nobody knew where. We have to blame somebody why we all got sick. Apparently they blame it Chinese bats or something like that because they eat all these.
They just took advantage of the common cold.
Yeah.
And they just relabeled it. And then a lot of people say like, oh, how can they be controlling everybody? Like that shows what kind of control they have. The fact that they could get everybody to shut down the same day, you know, that just shows that we're all kind of sheep. We're just following what we're told by. And again, the government is not our ruler. The government works for us. We employ the government to make our lives easier. Exactly. So they literally just flip the script now. Now we have to obey them like they're like if they're our parents.
That's what they want.
Hell no, they work for us. You know? Yeah, that's what they want. I actually enjoy the sun. So yeah.
He's getting his vitamin C.
No, yeah, for sure in the summer I'm gonna move to the shade, but no, yeah, you guys are really open-minded. That's really good.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people are. No. Okay, no, this is literally.
That's why they want to shut down.
Exactly. I did hear a lot about TikTok that there is a lot of people posting little videos.
Because you know what, that's where I like do. A lot of people get like all this like, because there's so many people
Information.
that have about like it's all the knowledge that they do know and they can like back it up instead of like getting it from the news where someone is giving them the script.
And I actually do like TikTok a lot because it helps me like how to avoid a ticket, how to, you know, answer very politely in a rude
like the
way to my
educational
employee.
ones.
How
DIY.
I didn't even know that I don't need to give a 2-week notice unless I want to go back and yada yada, you know. Certain little things that, you know.
Believe it or not, even what I'm doing right now is sharing this method of approach so that people that do know can actually do it in their own towns and in their own cities. So again, the internet could be bad, but it doesn't have to be. We could use it for our advantage to share information.
They give those kind of prompts for like high school essays all the time. And I'm like, it's good. It's good. You get to like communicate with like family. But now, because of what the internet is now, I wish I could redo those papers and talk about, you could be given like all this information by like actual specialists.
Yeah, but that's the thing though, you should be able to recreate whatever they're showing you. And that's why YouTube and TikTok are good because they're visual. It's not just text on the book. You know, they actually show what they're doing.
And the other thing I don't like if there's a faster way for me to finish my career and get to the point what I want, we don't have to take these other extra classes where they are not even going to be beneficiary for me for what I'm going to do. Like,
the reason,
we're kind of steering off topic, but we're kind of staying on like one sort of topic. But going off what she's saying, it's also about like I didn't know anything about the stock market, but like about like I think during COVID, like everybody started talking about like, oh, you should invest in the stock market. That's how the rich get rich, and I'm like, oh my god, I wouldn't
Bitcoin
have known that.
It's like the new form of currency. Yeah, it's horrible.
That. So it's good in that sense. Like it's like a lot of like people helping people.
Yeah, in a way. So a lot of the reasons why there's a lot of pointless subjects in school, and the reason why they get us so young when we're 5-6 years old, it's because they're conditioning us. So all these subjects that they force on us on school is all about, they don't teach us how to think, they teach us what to think. So that's how they're able to control us again, by conditioning us to, just obey your authority, your teacher. And if you ask questions, how do they know that that's what history happened? They start getting mad at you. You'll get in trouble for questioning history or questioning all these other theories, you know. And again, it's all about just brainwashing us, you know what I'm saying, to accept this lifestyle of having to pay just to live somewhere. You know, I think that's the most retarded thing I've ever seen. Having to pay rent to someone else, you know.
I hate landlords. Her landlord is like, he's a good person, he's a Christian.
No,
but like the conditions that they're living in, it's not worth the amount that she has to pay right now.
Nobody should pay any amount of money for that.
Yeah, like, you know what?
For living.
During COVID, he literally raised their rent because, you know, like people were literally losing their homes. Because they lost their jobs, they couldn't pay their rent. And he thought that like she or like that they were, even though they weren't, like he kind of was just kind of assuming that that's what they were gonna do. Like they weren't gonna pay their rent because they couldn't or whatever. And he ended up raising it, like
just to make it happen.
And that was honestly, to me, it was like so rude. At the time, I was working for 211 Orange County. I'm pretty sure there's one here. There's one here in Riverside. 211 Riverside.
There's one everywhere.
Yeah, and I would get so many calls of people like needing rent assistance, and I was working with like the California Emergency Rental Assistance Program, and I was setting them up to get like the rent assistance. And like you had to also have your landlord apply, and many landlords didn't want to apply. Like they just don't want to pay their rent, and we're like, we just need you to sign on so that they can get the help.
Cover it.
So like you're like literally saying like, yeah, they do live here, they need help, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they didn't want to they just don't want to pay their rent. I'm like, they're gonna get you the money. They just can't break their backs right now, like they're out of work. But they're trying to get help to pay the money. Like they're just so.
If you ask me, they're just too comfortable and lazy.
They are.
Landlords, they just expect everyone to do everything for them.
But the fact that he did that, I was kind of like,
no. And the fact that
the worst time too. Worst time.
Yeah, I know.
See, the fact that I see he did that is because he has to pay his building,
he already thinks that
like
they're living
taxes and all that, you know. So.
Yeah, that's the excuse they use. Even when my rent goes up, my insurance went up and property tax went up, so I'm gonna.
That's the thing I don't like.
How's that my problem? I'm a renter.
That rich people just want to get rich and they get mad at you for trying to, you know, make a little bit better, easier.
Yeah, to make your life better. Yeah. These people are greedy.
That's not fair.
Yeah, it's all fueled from greed, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So just real quick about land and I did the math because I like math. So in 1 square mile, you know what a square mile is, right? So in 1 square mile, there's 640 acres of land. So if we were to divide those 640 acres of land and then give half an acre to each person, you could fit 1,280 people in 1 square mile, you know, with half an acre of land, which is more than enough you'll ever need to grow your food, to live, you know. The state of Texas is over 260,000 square miles. Guess how many people can fit in the state of Texas?
Oh, that's a really big state.
But yeah, the whole U.S. population, over 340 million people with a half an acre of land each, could fit in the state of Texas. So that's just debunking overpopulation. You know, again, it's just getting us conditioned to live in these crowded cities so that they can exploit us. Their cities, exactly. So this is a cult. We live in a cult. So cult is just another word for culture. So there's cultures all over the world, but again, they're just cults. Why? Because people just blindly obey their leaders.
Okay.
And just do what they say.
Sorry, our table is ready.
No worries.
So
You guys have a
My
good
name
one.
is Laylan.
Yeah, my name is William.
Thank
So
you, William.
actually, here, let me give you my card. And I do this at universities as well because they're running from this. You know,
They're running from
yeah,
this.
they're running from this the Ball Earth lie. Nobody wants to talk about it, especially at university. So I go to them and I present it like this, so you guys can check it out.
All right,
All right,
thanks,
thank you.
William.
You have a good one.
Have a great rest of your
Yeah,
Sunday.
you too. Thank you.